I grew up believing my family was ordinary. We had birthdays with cheap store-bought cakes, summers filled with sticky watermelon, and the occasional shouting match that every family pretends is normal. My mom, my dad, and me, just us three. Or at least, that's what I thought for 25 years of my life. But everything I knew about who I was shattered with one white envelope, a test I took almost as a joke. It started with a trend. Everyone was doing those ancestry DNA tests, finding out they were 1/3 Italian, or discovering some distant cousin in Australia. I ordered mine because my friends pressured me into it. It sat unopened on my desk for weeks until one boring Saturday I finally spit into the tube, sealed it, and sent it off. I didn't expect much. Maybe some surprise heritage. Maybe proof that mom's constant "we've got noble blood somewhere" was just her romantic imagination. What I got back was numbers that made no sense. The results showed I was 50% from my mom's side, as expected, but the paternal half it didn't match my dad at all. According to the test, the man who had raised me, the man whose last name I carried, wasn't biologically related to me. At first, I thought it was an error. I even joked about it. But jokes don't keep you awake at night. I started digging. I upgraded my account, checked close matches. That's when another name appeared on the list: my uncle, my dad's younger brother, and the percentage match. It screamed one thing: he wasn't just my uncle. He was my biological father. I remember the exact moment my stomach dropped. It was 2 in the morning, the room glowing blue from my laptop. The test said what I couldn't unsee: my uncle is actually my father. I slammed the laptop shut, but the truth clung to me like smoke. My heart raced. Every family barbecue, every Christmas, every offhanded comment suddenly replayed in my head with new meaning. Uncle Mark, always around, always with that easy smile. He slipped me $20 when Dad said no. He showed up at my school soccer games when my own father was too busy. I always thought he was just the fun uncle. But what if he wasn't being fun? What if he was compensating? I couldn't sit on it. The next day I confronted my mom. She was folding laundry, humming some old tune. I dropped the printout on top of the neatly folded towels. "What's this?" she asked, not looking up. "Explain it," I said. My voice cracked. She read the page, her face drained of color. The towels slipped from her hands. "I can explain," she whispered. But she didn't. She just sat there, staring at the results as if they'd burned through her skin. Finally, she admitted it. 25 years ago, before I was born, she had an affair with Mark, my uncle. She swore it was short, that it meant nothing. But the timing lined up. 9 months later, I arrived. "Your father, your dad, Hayes, the one who raised you. Hayes, your real father," she said, tears running down her face. But biology doesn't care about bedtime stories. For weeks I avoided family gatherings. I ignored texts from my uncle. I couldn't even look my dad in the eyes without feeling sick. Did he know? Had he always known? Was the man who tucked me in at night just living a lie? Eventually, I confronted him. We sat in the garage, the smell of oil and dust heavy in the air. I showed him the results. His hands shook as he held the paper. "I always knew," he said softly. The words cut sharper than any knife. "You knew?" I shouted. He nodded. "I knew the moment your mother told me she was pregnant. The timing, it didn't add up. But I loved her. And when I held you in my arms, I decided you were mine. Nothing else mattered." I couldn't breathe. All those years he kept the truth inside. He sacrificed his pride, his dignity, to raise me as his own. But Uncle Mark, he knew too. He had to. And he said nothing. That night, anger consumed me. I thought back to every smirk, every sly comment my uncle made. The way he and Mom sometimes exchanged looks when they thought no one was watching. The pieces connected, forming a puzzle I never wanted to see. I decided I wanted revenge. Not the violent kind. Something quieter, sharper. The kind that cuts where it hurts most: reputation, pride, family. The next family gathering was Easter. Everyone was there: grandparents, cousins, the whole circus. I stood up during dinner, glass in hand, and said I had an announcement. "I took one of those DNA tests," I began. Everyone laughed, expecting a fun story. Turns out, it showed something pretty shocking. Apparently, my dad isn't my biological father. The room froze. Forks clinked against plates. My mother went pale. My uncle's face tightened. "And here's the kicker," I said. "The test says my uncle is actually my real father." Gasps erupted. My grandmother dropped her glass. My uncle tried to speak, but the words tangled in his throat. My dad stared down at his plate, silent. I walked out, leaving chaos behind me. The fallout was nuclear. My grandparents stopped speaking to Mark. His wife left him within weeks, taking their kids. His reputation in town destroyed. The whispers spread fast. A man who fathered his own brother's child. People didn't forgive that. Mom tried to call me every day, but I ignored her. When she finally cornered me, sobbing, begging me to stay quiet, I told her it was too late. She built her life on lies, and I just pulled the thread. My dad, well, the man I still call dad, moved into an apartment. He couldn't bear to live with mom anymore. But he still texts me every morning. Good morning, son. And Mark, he hasn't reached out. Not once. Here is what I learned. Secrets rot. They don't disappear, they ferment in the dark until they explode. My family was a house built on quicksand, and all it took was a little spit in a tube to sink it. Do I regret it? No. They deserve the truth. And my revenge. Watching Mark's perfect little life unravel was more satisfying than anything else. I don't know what the future holds. My family will never be the same. Maybe it's better this way. At least I know who I am now, not just someone's son, but the man who ended decades of lies. And if Mark ever tries to crawl back into my life, I'll remind him of one thing. He lost the right to call himself my father the moment he chose silence over truth.